Hey, I'm Reinhard Kate, and welcome to the first Ripple Drop of 2021 here in the SF offices, social distance, of course. We've got a cool show for you featuring Ashish Burla, the general manager of RippleNet, Monica Long, the general manager of RippleX, and Stu Algerati, our general counsel. Stay tuned for the drop.
Hey, Ashish, it's so good to see you in person. It's been a long time since we've done this.
I know, I miss you. This is great to be back in person. It's great to be in the Ripple office, and it's great to be doing another Ripple Drop with you.
Let's talk RippleNet. In 2020, what kind of growth have you seen on the network, and what are you expecting in 2021?
Yeah, 2020 was a phenomenal year led by the Southeast Asia region. We saw over 3 million transactions cross RippleNet in 2020. And in 2021, they're not showing any signs of slowing. The story last year was Southeast Asia. This year, we're seeing Middle East pick up and really drive a lot of growth in the first couple of quarters here. And then also Latin America is coming online pretty strong as well. So I'm excited about 2021. Great year. Let's follow that up with an even stronger 2021.
So what are you most excited about on RippleNet in 2021?
Ripple is in a prime position to look at blockchain technology and figure out what other kinds of problems we're trying to solve for them. It's great. I'm finding all sorts of new potential product offerings that we want to try to bring to market in the next couple of years. But basically it comes down to, let's listen to our customers. Let's see if there's a problem we can address with our technology.
So what kind of use cases are you seeing customers really hone in on RippleNet?
With COVID, you saw this digital acceleration. So customers wanted to grow their digital portfolio faster than ever. And listen, a lot of them turned to Ripple and RippleNet to help them accelerate growth. The other sort of trend was that, especially in Southeast Asia, you saw cash become a pretty big concern. It was really tough to actually get any sort of line of credit. And that's where the power of not only using Ripple and on-demand liquidity for payments, but then also using those same products for a line of credit as well. And we came to the rescue to a lot of our customers that were in a bit of a cash crunch, and they were really stable customers, but they just needed a little bit of a line of credit to help them accelerate their business during COVID. And yes, we were there, we solved a big problem for them. So that is something that we want to expand in 2021 as well, line of credit.
So let's turn to on-demand liquidity, or ODL. What kind of things are you hearing from our customers that are using this product?
Yeah, so what was interesting about that is that other customers started hearing about ODL by word of mouth. And it was actually the CFO at other customers that was hearing about some of the benefits of ODL, that you can use it to source liquidity 24/7. Whereas the old world, you had to do it within business hours, Monday through Friday. And so we're hearing our different CFOs come and talk to us and saying like, listen, we'd love to use ODL for our internal treasury. And that is something that we heard more and more in 2020, but in 2021, we're hearing that accelerate. So that's something that we're going to be digging a little bit deeper in, seeing if we can solve more customer problems with ODL specifically.
Lastly, what kind of things have our customers been able to accomplish using RippleNet?
One, we want to be there so that you can grow your business and transform your business. I think that the digital acceleration induced by COVID is only going to continue in a post-COVID world, and RippleNet is going to be that technology to help you expand even further. So, I'm excited for that in 2021. I'm also excited about learning what else we can do with our technology and bringing that to market in 2021 as well.
Monica, so good to see you.
Great to see you, Reinhard.
I know. I was just telling Ashish that it's been forever since we've gotten a chance to shoot in person here at the Ripple offices. And since we've last spoken, you've stepped into a new role.
That's right.
And so talk to me about RippleX. What's RippleX's core mission?
RippleX is super exciting. So our mission is to inspire and enable the global XRP community of developers to collectively build that Internet of Value that we always talk about.
That's really, really exciting. Even though we're missing you at marketing, That's a big, big mission to
Especially
like
with
take on.
Swell going on. Yes, yes. And shall I talk a little bit about how that works? So we think about 4 key parts that have to come together. So first is how we enable the developer experience building on and around XRPL. So that's everything from the SDKs and the tools to innovations that we can contribute at the protocol level. Secondly, it's about how we support developers. So we recently hired Matt Hamilton, our Director of Developer Relations, who comes from the XRP developer community. He's doing an outstanding job. Check out his Twitch show if you haven't. But so he is responsible for thinking about how we're supporting developers through programs and other things like that. The third way is through actual demonstrating use cases. So for example, we have a team that's working right now on central bank digital currency projects based on XRP Ledger, and we're hatching new ideas related to use cases. And then the last component is liquidity infrastructure, because we know for developers to bring their ideas to life and to bring their businesses to life, they need a lot of key infrastructure components like wallets and fiat on and off ramps, et cetera.
What are you looking forward to with RippleX in 2021?
I think getting in there and executing is what I'm most looking forward to, but we need the team to do it. So we're going to be hiring quite a bit, definitely on the engineering and product side, but I think really across the business. So looking forward to welcoming new team members this year, probably the second to a return to work, which I know we're all looking forward to.
Monica, are there any projects that are building on the XRP ledger that you're particularly excited about?
There's so many that we could give a shout out to here. I'll call out a few. So XRPL Labs produced the Sum wallet, which is a fantastic non-custodial wallet. The team at 20 Labs, they've created an XRP toolkit, which is great for developers to check out. And lastly, I'll call out a couple community members who created an NFT art gallery on the ledger. Ponderjohn and Calvin Schultz. That's some really great creativity and innovation. I personally think that NFTs they're obviously a very big deal in crypto, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for developers to sink their teeth into NFT use cases on XRPL. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that.
Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, have been a critical focal point for the crypto industry. Why are they important, and what kind of benefits can XRPL provide to them?
Yeah, it is really important, and I think it's become very apparent that CBDCs are going to be a significant part of the future of money and the future of financial infrastructure. I think the big innovation here is a very secure form of digital fiat currency. We're wading into those waters. We're engaging with central banks around the world on the topic. And I think what's really interesting is beyond CBDC projects within a given country is for central banks to think about cross-border interoperability. With our RippleNet business, we're all about cross-border payments, so that's something we've been thinking about critically for several years. And I think we can be a really great partner to help them solve for that cross-border interoperability using a bridge asset like XRP.
Stu, since we last spoke about regulatory clarity, a lot has happened here in the US. Can you give us an update on crypto regulation and where do you see it headed?
So we've talked about an environment of regulatory uncertainty, and that environment of regulatory uncertainty continues. The SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission in the US, continues to try to regulate the space through enforcement rather than adopting clear laws, rules, or regulations that could be published, that the industry can comment on, that everyone can agree that these will be the rules of the road going forward. And the last enforcement action that the SEC filed, as I think everyone knows, was against Ripple. And that was filed at the very end of December. It was filed by the former administration at the SEC, literally on the last day of that chair being in office, claiming that what Ripple was doing was on the wrong side of the securities laws. Ultimately, Whether the SEC's right or whether Ripple's right, of course we believe we're right, that's going to have to be resolved in a court at some future date. That's what we call regulation by enforcement. Rather than adopting clear laws, rules, and regulations so everybody knows what the rules of the game will be or the rules of the industry will be.
I mean, that really begs another question. So like, why is this regulatory clarity through a framework important?
Without a clear regulatory framework, or stated another way, with an unclear regulatory framework that creates that havoc, you're simply not going to be able to develop the innovation in that environment.
Stu, well, who specifically benefits from regulatory clarity?
I think number one, the United States benefits from regulatory clarity.
Last but not least, what jurisdictions have clear regulatory regimes and how can the US learn from them?
We've talked about this before. I think there are many countries that are developing or have developed clear regulatory regimes. There's Japan, there's Singapore, there's the UK, there's Switzerland. We're talking about regulation that balances innovation. We're not talking about being free of regulatory oversight. We're not talking about going back to the days of the Wild West. We're talking about what's that clear regulatory framework, which can come through a licensing framework, permissions that a regulator gives you, and as long as you operate within those permissions and the regulator audits that you're actually complying with the permissions granted by the license, that's what we're talking about. That I'm going to develop a regulatory framework that if I'm going to engage in this innovation, that I'm going to have a license, I'm going to have permissions, I know what that license and what those permissions allow me to do, and I'm going to cooperate with the regulator, and the regulator is going to hold me accountable to the license and the permissions they've given me, but I know what's expected of me.